My sister used to tell me that I was going to be gay. She used to tell me that because I wasn't fond of going outside. I would rather be inside and play church or something like that. And so I would go outside when I was forced, and then other times I'd go outside with my friends. And when I'd get outside, I'd have fun. But I wasn't really an outside kid when I was younger, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just wasn't really an outside kid. And so because of that, my sister told me that I was going to be gay. um, and so as a result of that, I was terrified of homosexuality because my sister told me that I was going to be gay because I didn't like going outside. So as a boy, I developed severe homophobia. So much so that in sixth grade, the library teacher who we thought was gay at the time, when I was in sixth grade, he made me move from where I was in the library because he said I was talking, I wasn't talking, and so because I thought he was gay, I began to call him every gay slur that I could think of because I was afraid of being gay. There was a gentleman in our church, and he and we all knew that he was gay, LGBTQ, if I could be what is it called, it politically correct, and we all knew what he was, and so he had invited everybody over to come to his house and go swimming, and he tells me. Now he had invited the parents and everybody to come over, and there's a big barbecue. And he told me, "Yeah, I want you and your brothers to come swimming with us." And so I was 9, and thus I began to cuss him from, as my daddy said, Dan the Beersheba, because he was gay, and I was afraid of being gay. So much so that I started taking piano lessons when I was like 11 or 12, 13, 14, taking piano lessons, and I would ride my bike to piano lessons. And because the at that time in church, the only male musicians I knew were gay, LGBTQ, and so I was afraid, I was terrified of it, and so I would go to piano every single every single Tuesday and Thursday, but I wouldn't go. I would ride my bike somewhere else, stay gone for about 45 minutes, and then come back home because I didn't want to take piano lessons because my sister told me when I was like 6 or 7 that I was going to be gay because I like going outside, and I was afraid that if I played piano that I was going to be gay. So I was terrified of it. So I became extremely homophobic. I would say things and do things, not necessarily publicly, but privately, against that community. Now, mind you, this is back in the late 80s and early 90s, and so some people may feel some kind of way about it. This is way before it became popular to not say certain things. You could say whatever you want to say about anybody during this time. And so I had developed a severe case of homophobia because I was afraid that I was going to be gay. It didn't occur to me till I was about 12, 13, 14 that the only way that you could be gay is if you had an affinity for the same sex. The only way I was going to be gay is if I liked someone of the same sex. And I realized that I did not have those feelings for someone of the same sex. And so therefore I realized I can't be that if I don't feel that way. But because of what I was told, I went through the first part of my life, and then after that, the next 6 or 7 years of my life, trying to learn how not to hate people who were same sex, not because I was mad at them, but because I was afraid I would be that because I was told that because I didn't want to go outside. When I was younger, people would say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That story there is to tell you that words do hurt. I don't know where that lie came from. That sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. My arm was broken before. This arm, and it healed. It's a little. My left arm is a little smaller than my right arm because it was broken, but it healed. I when I thought I played basketball when I was in middle school and high school, I was doing a layup drill and I fell and I hurt my back really, really bad, and I injured myself really, really bad, and I was hurt for a while, for a couple years, but it healed. I dealt with some cancerous pain in my chest when I was 19, and I had my biopsy. They found some cancerous cells. They were able to get them out. It healed. I cut my finger. It healed. I've been in fights. I'm okay. But those words carried me all through my life. The Bible says when you say certain things or gossiping or talking about people, it's like murder. It's like tying a millstone around someone's neck and throwing them into the sea. Murder. Words do hurt. We have to be sure that we watch our words. And I'm not being deep and being spiritual and speaking to my life, and the man of God or man or woman spoke to my life and she said, no, 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 no. Just what we say. Words breathe life. Many of you, or some of you, may have thought you were dumb because people said you weren't smart. And you carried that, and so therefore at certain times you didn't really try. Because words hurt. Some of you were told that you were ugly. And so you went through your life being ugly on the inside and shouting ugly on the outside. Because words hurt. I remember when I was getting ready to work on my first musical project, I was told by someone very, very close to me that it would not work. Church was full of people waiting to hear me. My first album was not Hear Me Now. It's actually called The Experience. Destiny, The Experience Church. It was called The Experience, and had an entire band and singers, and 600 or 700 people came to hear me. And they told me it wasn't going to work. And so thus, when it's time to go back and work on it, I never really tried to put anything into it. And so it never came out because the people who I believed in told me it wasn't going to work. Why? Because words hurt. Words are painful. That's why we have to be careful even what we say to our children and our young people, and the things that we suggest to them. Why? Because words hurt. Bible tells us to bridle our tongues. Let your tongue be seasoned with grace. Let your words should be seasoned with grace. I remember when I was little, they say stuff like, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Why? Because words hurt. And many times we speak from a place of not knowing, a place of not understanding, a place of not having the full truth, a place of not having the full understanding, a place of not really caring, a place. And we say things and we say, oh, I'm just playing. Or we say, or well, they know my heart, or they mean it. No, I don't know your heart because I know your words. And what you said, it hurt me and it harmed me and it bothered me and it boggled me down. Why? Because words hurt. Words change lives. Come on, the Bible, we also just speak a word. Jesus just spoke a word and she was healed. Just speak a word, speak a word, speak a word. But then we walk around saying what they said didn't bother me. Yes, it did bother you. I'm here to tell you, as a person who's a former confidence lacker, who sometimes still lacks confidence, that what has been the greatest reason for me lacking confidence is what was said to me by people who should have been affirming me. I remember one time this lady told me, she was a prophet, and she told me that that you always gonna live off the church. You always gonna have your hand out. Why? Truth was, she had got her information from people who didn't like me at that moment. And so her prophetic word was, not realizing that a few years later, I was the only reason why money was coming into the church. And I was getting nothing, and I was pastoring for free for 8 years. While money was walking out the door in hands of others, I was doing all the work for free. Nothing at all. Keeping the doors open. But those words, they hurt me. And so for a time, I pushed away what was supposed to come to me because I didn't want to be the one living off of the church. Even though I knew I wasn't, I was afraid that I would get that title. Why? Because words hurt. Words are painful. And I want you and I to be careful of the words we used and the words we use. Because I have no problem with the LGBTQ community at all. I'm not a gay man. Straight as an arrow. It's never been my issue. But because I was told that, I feared it so much so that it caused me to inflict verbal harm on other people. And though I was a boy, it still inflicted verbal harm on other people. Thanks be to God, the gentleman, now he calls me nephew, who invited me swimming, my brother swimming, and the whole church actually, he calls me nephew. And we're good today because he wiped it off as a boy, just saying whatever, but I knew where it comes from and I know where it came from. So your words hurt. Be sure to season your words with grace. Be sure to bridle your tongue. Be sure just not to say certain things. If you don't have anything good to say, just don't say nothing at all. All right, y'all. I got to go. Peace.